Hi, it's Warren Hewitt here. Hope you're doing marvellously well. Today in Lesson 8, we're going to talk about Pro Tools basics. And when I mean basics, I mean basics. So for some of you, this might seem pretty rudimentary, but the whole purpose of the How to Record series is to really show you the most basic information so that, we're covering all of the steps, because I remember learning myself, and I learned, just by trial and error, that I was sort of miss out things and then find out information later, and once I got that information, I'd be like, oh, now I understand why this works like this, or etc., etc. So the reality is that this is going to be some basic for some of you and be of help to others. But so as ever, please go to producelikeapro.com and sign up for the email list, and go and subscribe, please. Thank you ever so much for all of those of you who've been subscribing. I really appreciate it. And of course, if you enter the email list, you're going to get information, obviously, not only on new videos, but on the giveaways that we're doing, the competitions, the mix competitions. There's one currently running, and of course, I'm sure there'll be another one after that's finished. Lots of fun stuff. Oh, and there's drum samples, and of course, a Vimeo account where you can see other videos explaining, drum recording and piano recording, etc. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so let's open Pro Tools. Here it is down here. Now, I don't have the latest version of Pro Tools on my HD system here. At the moment, I'm just running 9 on here. I have 10 and 11 on laptops, but we're going to go to 12 shortly. It's quite a big leap, but I think from what I can tell, it's the right thing to do. Okay, so Pro Tools is open now. Let us create a new session. You can go up to New Session under File and create a new session, or you can just use the shortcut key, which of course is Apple or Command N for new. I'm running most of my sessions at 48K and 24-bit, so I'm just going to go OK because that's what it's defaulting to. It says create blank session. Okay. Now let's go to a work drive here, and let's call it test session. Like this. So we're naming the session test session, and we're going to save it onto this drive here. There it is. That has created a brand new session. Now, if we have a quick look at a couple of things, let's hide Pro Tools a second. Let's open up our test session here. You'll see there's a bunch of things going on here. There's video files, region groups, fade files, and audio files. And what you'll need to know is when you save audio, it will go into this audio files bin here. Now, that might sound very rudimentary and obvious, but one of the biggest problems I think that I've had in Pro Tools, and people have in Pro Tools continuously, is where audio files get saved to the wrong location. So audio file management is very, very important. We can talk about different issues that may happen, but I've had sometimes when I audio suite things, I actually process something, it will save to the Mac hard drive, the actual hard drive itself. So it's worth being very cognizant, very aware of the audio files folder and checking stuff and being very organized. Anyway, okay, so let's create a new audio track. Now, if we go up here to track, you'll see new. Also, you'll notice that is Shift Command N. So Shift Command N will create a new audio track. Now, it immediately defaults to 1, so that's perfect for what we need, and it always defaults initially to audio, so a mono track and an audio track. So a mono audio track. So let's hit create or return on our keyboard. It's good if you can to start getting used to quick keys, because it will save a lot of time if you're editing with quick keys. So return, new. Okay, so now our input is 9 for our DI. I'm just going to set the output to my console. If you're not going through a console or some kind of summing unit, you obviously it'll just be 1 and 2. Okay, the most important thing, honestly, is to organize properly. So I'm going to put GTR for guitar, DI. I cannot tell you how many countless times I have got sessions from people where I've got like 100 tracks and they're all called audio. For the couple of nanoseconds it takes to write down what the track is, it will save you hours of figuring things out later. So try to organize your sessions as you can. I know if you're moving fast and you're creating audio tracks, it still shouldn't take more than a second to just write down what the track is. The better organized it is, the easier it will be for you to navigate and move around your session, seeing all the names here, all the names appearing over here. So try to get as organized as possible. And then, of course, if you don't work on a session for 6 months and you open it up again, you might not remember what all those tracks are if they're all just called audio. So try to be as organized as possible. And it will help if you're also giving the session to somebody else to mix. Okay, so let's grab the guitar. Let's plug it in. And it's going to record. Okay, let's go into our inserts here and see what we've got in the way of virtual amplifiers. So they're listed under harmonic. We can go, let's go to guitar amp mono. Have a look. Clean. Now obviously we can select something a little bit more fun. Let's go to high gain, monster. Guitar amp's pretty fun. We could do a whole thing on guitar amp. Okay, so that is creating a audio input there. Now obviously we can plug in a microphone. The same thing, if you plug a mic in there, we're just plugging the DI, but this could be a mic input and we could just go straight in that way. So the same thing. Okay, so let's create a new track again. So we're going to go back to Shift Command N or go up to track up here for new. And let's now look at an instrument track. Here's an instrument track. And let's create. Okay, now let's take the output here and make it. Okay, and let's select an instrument. I don't know, mini grand. Let's see what that is. Okay. And we'll grab our little Akai keyboard. We're going to plug our USB extension cable into the front of the computer here. Okay, so now we have an extension cable. Obviously you might have a USB cable which is long enough, but my one coming out of the Akai is quite short. So then my extension cable goes in here, and it's got to be around the right way. And there it is. Okay, great. So let's go into record. And there we have our little keyboard here. It's as simple as that. It just defaults. If you go to instrument track, it just defaults to whatever's on there. I don't have to change my input. I don't have to do anything clever. They make it very easy. Cool. And obviously you can audition whatever sounds. I'm not sure what is coming as standard these days, but I do like Expand. It's pretty awesome. It comes as standard. Beneath the Waves. There's your dance. There's your dance track. Okay. There's some fun stuff in here. Organs, clavinets, electric pianos, acoustic pianos. There's even some loops. So we go to loops. We'll go loop 120 here, and we've got. Cool. Okay, so this creates a click track, so we're going to go up to create click track here. I like personally the marimba. There's the factory defaults. Let's go to marimba 2. It's painful. I hit option here to send it to so they're both at -6. Got 120. Okay. Let's go into record. 2, 2, 3, 4. Don't really need to hear the click track when putting this down. So So if you hit 7 on the numerical pad over here on the right, you can turn the click on and off. Click on, hit 7, click off. Cool. So that's enough for the time being. We'll just build a quick loop like that. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to our guitar DI and we'll open. Let's go back and what should we choose? Let's go to harmonic. Let's choose. You know what? I'll go back to guitar amp. I like that. Warm. Let's go clean. You know what? No, we'll just go to warm and see what we've got there. That's right. Okay. Let us give us a bar. Turn the click on. Hit 7. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was a quick like little funk riff there. Okay, let me have a listen. Turn the click off. Little mistake there. Okay, so there was a little mistake in there, so let's just take that first one again there. Alright, firstly a couple of things. We can turn up that drum kit there, or we can put a little compression across it. Why don't we just do that, just for the heck of it. The most basic compressor there is that comes with Pro Tools, which is Bomb Factory. I like that, it's bringing out some ambience, making it sound a little trashier. Okay, so here we have cool. So let's take that, that's an 8-bar loop. Let's hit Option R and let's make it 3. So it's going to be now 24 bars. We don't need that much. Here you go. Okay, so let's extend this loop so it's a full 24 beats. So we'll go back to notes. Let's screen so I can see it. Extreme. Let's highlight that note and drag it out. It's 24 bars. So we'll drag it out to 24 bars. So now we have 24 bars. Cool. So now let's create another track. So Shift, Command, N, creating a new track. Dun dun dun. Let's call this Bass. DI. Okay. So here we have, as Will Ferrell would call it, Yaz Bass and Command. Okay. Let's just we'll just bring out the same stereo output. Okay, don't need everything in solo anymore. Make sure our right input is done. Now what we can do is we can try something fun. We can use maybe guitar amp on this as well. Let's have a look and see what they've got option wise. Bass, here we go. Direct tube. That'd be kind of fun. So let's try a part here. Make sure our click's turned on. It's going to record. 2, 3, 4. So there was a bunch of different ideas in there. I like the basic groove. Alright, so some simple editing. If I go into here, into say quarter note, listen to this. This is a little behind, this is a little on top. I could do a couple of things. I could just cheat and take this section here, because it's the same. And I can hit Apple C, or just C if you've got the A to Z button highlighted. Just hit C, and then V and paste it in. And then with this note here, what you can do is like go up to here to your trim tool. Here's your trim tool. Trim to the front of it, then cut it somewhere in the middle here, highlight, and hit Command 0, and it's just going to knock it back slightly. There you go. You can move that. Obviously, you could use the hand tool up here, the grabber, and move it, the grabber tool. You could do that, like so, and you can move it roughly where you want it to be. But that's basic editing there. Okay, so let's go back and listen to a 4-bar section of that. And see if there's anything else I need to tighten. It's perfectly fine to me. Okay, so I'm going to hit Apple or Command C, or you can just hit C if your A to Z button is engaged. And I am going to put that at the top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new playlist. So go up to here where it says Base DI, to the right hand side you'll see a little triangle, and then you'll see New for playlist. So you create a new playlist, name for new playlist, that's fine. I can call it Base DI 01, hit OK. Now paste in, like that. There we go. Okay, so it's a 32-bar sequence, so I'm going to go Option R, and we made 4, so let's go 7 more of those. And here we have the bass line, and the drums, and the guitar. There's a simple funky bass line. Okay, so let's do one more guitar part on the other side, just for fun. Okay, so just grab the guitar here. Let's plug our DI back in. As you notice, I'm still using the same DI for every single one. Okay, so here's a nice little trick. So highlight the guitar part that you've already got a plugin on, and then go Shift, Option, D. And what that does is that duplicates the track. Now, I don't need the active playlist, and I don't need the alternate playlists, but everything else can remain the same. And what that does is just basically create a new track that is exactly the same as the one above, has the same inputs. All I need to do now is maybe go and rename it and call it Guitar DI 2, pan it the other way, away from that one. And that was a simple, quick way of getting, you know, all the same inputs and outputs and everything. Nice little tip there. I do it all the time. Okay, so it's going to record. Let's change up the sound slightly. So we got maybe a little bit more of aggressive one. Punchy. Let's see what the punchy sounds like. Cool. Now what we're going to do is going to record. Let's turn on our click. Cool. Let's get rid of that for a second. Let's turn off our click. I need to hear that the whole time. Let's have a listen. I like that one. So I like that. So again, let's do the same thing. Go to the little triangle here to the right hand side of the title of the track. Go up to new, and you can create a new playlist, and we'll put that in. Okay, now there's a couple of little minor editing things. It seems like this is a little head at the end here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my grid control up here, and I'm going to just make that, say, 1/8 notes, so I can just see a little better. And if I make a cut just here, I moved into slip away from grid, and slip is up here. I do that by hitting F2 up here. F4 is the grid, F3 is spot, and shuffle's lock, so it can't accidentally go in there. Okay, so we're going to go to F2 up there. If not, you can just take your mouse and go up here and click spot, grid, and slip. Slip takes you out of grid and allows you to move things around easily. So I do my cut, which is B. I highlight by using the grabber tool, which is up here. And then I hit Command 0, and it springs back there. I'm going to do one more edit here for that little transient. Highlight, Command 0, boom, back it goes. Now I'm going to go to my trim tool, which is up here. Hit my trim tool. And I am going to just pull those over lightly, like so. And now I'm going to add a fade in. I'm going to highlight the whole region and go here. And then I'm going to hit F if that is highlighted, the A to Z button. I'll go over here and I'll pretend that that isn't highlighted, and I'll hit Command F, and then it will show me the fade it's going to draw in, and I hit OK. But if you're using the quick tools, then obviously just use A to Z if you're using quick keys. Okay, now I'm going to highlight that whole part. So I go back to grid, I'm hitting F4. I hit F4 twice. If I hit it once, you'll notice, see, it's moving between grid and relative grid. We'll explain relative grid in another day. Keep it on grid until we do that. All right, Option R, 15, and there it is. So now we should have 2 guitar parts. There it is, quick one. Now, let's do some fun stuff. Let's go Shift, Command, N. New track. We're going to go to stereo, master fader. Here it is. And it's on mono. You're going to change it to stereo. And we're going to hit create. Here's our master fader down here. We'll set it to our outputs on the console 1718. Yours maybe 1 and 2. Okay, so we set it to 1718. Let's go and do some fun stuff. Okay, let's try some dynamics. Let's go to Maxim here, open it up. Bring our threshold down. So what's interesting about this is with the threshold control, I'm actually squashing it heavier, which is nice, but then I can mix in the amount that I want it to be. So here it's like maximum effect, which is actually kind of nice. Cool. Let's bring up the drums ever so slightly. Maybe dB. Cool. So there's a quick, simple ditty. Now what I can do is I can just bounce that to disk, or I can record it back into Pro Tools. It really depends on how you want to do it. If you go to bounce to disk, you go up here to bounce to disk, and what I've got this set to at the moment is to go through my console, but I can change my output to 1718 stereo here, like this. I can make it stereo interleaved, of course. I might select 44.1 and 16-bit so that we have a CD quality one that you can bounce, and then I hit bounce. And what I would suggest to do is on your session, personally what I would do is I would create a new folder like this, and I would call it bounces. It just makes your life so much more organized than trying to put your mixes into your audio files bin. So I just created a brand new folder there and I called it bounces. If you want to be specific, you could call it 16-bit bounces even. But anyway, I get really anal with that stuff. I might have a 16 and a 24-bit one. But anyway, we'll just call it bounces for the time being. So create, like such. And then what do we want to call it? We'll call it test. We'll call it test funk idea. And hit save. And now it'll bounce. Cool. Now, if you're in 11, you can actually bounce offline, which means you don't have to listen to it in real time. However, you might want to listen to it in real time. So, because I'm going through a console, or you might be summing, you can actually be bouncing back into your session. So you won't be doing offline bouncing. But the great thing about offline bouncing is when you've got a huge session, a whole bunch of stuff going on, it's just nice to be able to do it a lot quicker than doing a real-time session. Fantastic. So that's the most basics of Pro Tools. That is, me just quickly coming up with a song idea in a few minutes there. And, there should be, what's great is I just found a generic beat in Expand, which comes with Pro Tools. And I put down a simple guitar idea, added a simple bass line, then did a guitar overdub. And there I have like a little quick, funky idea. I would suggest that you just try the same thing. Expand is actually pretty useful. There's a lot of different stuff that comes with it, different key sounds and everything. So just with that one plugin alone, you can create a lot of great things. And of course, if you're a guitar player or something like that, you can have even more fun. We didn't even get into keyboard sounds there. We could have had, a piano part playing along and, done some horn stabs and all kinds of fun things. But that's your territory. Get creative, have some fun with it. Please, as ever, subscribe and go to producelikeapro.com and sign up for the email list, and you can get a whole bunch of free stuff. We've got the drum samples, we've got all kinds of fun things, Vimeo access. Obviously, there is going to be plenty of competitions and giveaways, so you'll obviously be notified of all of those as well. So thank you ever so much for watching and subscribing. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.